Good morning, traders. Today is Thursday, October 27th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream where we talk about the ES and the NQ and the two-way auction process. All right. Well, today, unfortunately, I cannot tell you what my bias is because I am coming into the day about as neutral as a man can be. I do not. I could make a 30% case for the market to go higher, a 30% case for the market to go sideways, and a 30% case for the market to go lower, unfortunately. So I'm just going to be watching this morning to figure out what the market's going to do. So let me just step back to the daily and I'll walk you through why. We have had a lot of excess in the market. Excess is the sign of momentum. It is a trend higher. And that's, of course, bullish. The more momentum you have, the further it can go. But momentum doesn't last forever. It always runs out at some point, sooner or later. And we start to look for signals that that momentum might be running out so that if the market is rolling over, we know about it ahead of time. We started to get some of those signals yesterday, and I'll walk you through those in a second. But what that would mean, okay, is that today there's one of three basically scenarios that could be at play here. We could get more excess. The market could continue higher today, and we could just keep on trending to the upside. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense. The market is trending higher. It could just keep trending. Another alternative is if the market's going to start to roll over today, it could either go sideways and basically just bounce around inside yesterday's range, or it could start to pull back with price, looking for support at a lower price. So all three of those scenarios are kind of equally possible. The continuation of the trend, or either balance through price or balance through time, right? All three of those scenarios could take place this morning. So we have to be open to whatever the market information tells us. Yesterday, the market made a new high. It created a lot of momentum. It looked like it was building up buyers at a higher price to get continuation, and instead it failed, and it pulled back down into the previous day's range. Okay? It then brought in a lot of volume and spent a lot of time down here within the previous day's range where we spent a lot of time and brought in a lot of volume. And where the overnight the previous night before spent a lot of time and brought in a lot of volume. Then what did the overnight last night do? Spent a lot of time and brought in a lot of volume. So right now, at this moment, what the market is telling us is that we've run out of momentum up here and that we have to go sideways in here. And the question is, are we going sideways because we got to just keep going sideways? Or are we trying to break higher, or are we trying to break lower? So the levels that I'll be watching, first thing I'm expecting chop, first thing in the morning when the market opens. And I'll be watching this area around 63 to act as resistance when the market pushes up into there. And I'll be looking for this area around 44 to act as support when the market pushes down into there. And then depending on how the market reacts to those levels, I'll look to test the overnight high or the overnight low. So if we push up and we get through this resistance, I'm looking to test the overnight high. What does that mean? I'm looking to push above and then see if new buyers step in there at the overnight high. If they do, bullish for continuation higher. If they push down and they get below the support here, I'll look to test the overnight low and then see same thing. Do we get new sellers down here? If so, bearish for continuation lower. If not, pulling back in. And in between these levels, chop. Because in between these levels, the market is as confused as I am and is uncertain. So there will be two-sided trade. All right, so let's take a quick look at the NQ. So the NQ is a little bit more bearish than the ES because it did not get a continuation of that momentum on the daily yesterday. They didn't get a higher high and a higher low. So the NQ has already given the signal that the momentum has come to an end, which increases the odds that today the NQ either wants to go sideways and balance off using time, or it might need a larger pullback with price. But the fact that they broke that trend yesterday means that there's less of a probability they're going to get continuation of the momentum today. But I would treat the NQ exactly like the ES in terms of chop and support and resistance. Look for resistance around 11, just call it 11,500. If they can break through that, they're looking to test the overnight high. If they find new buyers up there, it's bullish. And then I would say same thing with the support. I know it's not very far away, but the support at 11,376. If that breaks, they're looking to test the overnight low. Bearish if they get new sellers there. And in between, inside this overnight range, chopping it up. Chopping it up. Scooball says, is the NQ creating a balancing area at a previous balancing area? Well, that sure sounds like something it would do. Ooh, you could be right. Yes, sir. It's also actually the overnight was a retest of that breakout too, of previous balance on the Q. That was the test. So yeah, you're right. It could be another balance area. All right. So with that, I would say that's in a tiny little way means maybe they could actually go higher on the Q. I would still say the greater probability is either sideways or down. But that's a little bit bullish. And says, I feel like if we get below 38.35, we would lose steam and the momentum is over. Yeah, I mean, I see it differently. I see it like getting below there would have already told us the momentum is over. And then now we'd be looking at starting new momentum lower. So if new sellers start to pile on there, they're looking to take the market down. And so then we start new momentum to the downside. All right, so right now, as is a perfect indication of chop, we have a weak high and a weak low, both because we had only buyers and only sellers there. Increasing the odds, we're going to chop it up. Oh yeah, while we're chopping it up, I just wanted to say I posted the link there in the comments. Anyone who wants to sign up for the newsletter for book club. We had a wonderful book club last night. Everybody had a little chat. It was an awesome time. If you're thinking maybe you want to do book club next month, the last Wednesday of next month, you should sign up for the newsletter today. Click on that link, go to the website, put in your email address, so that this afternoon when I send out the email about voting for what book to do next month, you can be on that email. Thomas, that's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Chilling with Dylan. Are you looking at the positive negative delta to determine the buyers or sellers? Yes, sir. So I'm looking at the 30-minute volume profile. And if there was only 2 contracts traded and they were both short, it means only the asks were able to get filled there. And if down here there's 12 contracts that traded and they were all long, then it was only the bids that were able to get filled. Obviously increasing the odds that we need to do more business there. I don't know who it was that pointed this out to me. It was like a month ago. But man, what a great catch. This is a wonderful signal of weakness when it's only one side of trade there. Oh, wait, RK, you guys couldn't see on the YouTube? I thought it was live streaming. I saw you guys commenting and having a conversation, and I assumed you could see it. Oh, my bad. Well, I'll upload the video. I recorded the Zoom call, so I'll upload it later today. All right, so now we're looking to test this support. It was where we brought in volume yesterday and in the overnight. Also just above the closing price from yesterday. So we're looking for the buyers to step in here and chop it back up. David V, sorry I missed that part. It was the when the high or the low of the day has the same number of contracts that traded were one side of the market. So in this case, the only contracts that traded were short. Or if, well, there you go. Once again, only contracts at the low are long. It just increases the odds the market is going to come back and retest it. And somebody pointed it out to me a while back, and for about a week, I just watched it and was like, let's see how often. And it's crazy. It always gets repaired. So it's a really reliable signal of weakness. And once again, we still have it on both sides. The chop continues. Ed, when you say the momentum is over, I assume it's over for the moment, not hour or day. No, I'm talking about on the daily. The momentum is over, right? So the signal to us yesterday, of course, we had a higher high and a higher low. We get it. We did still have momentum. The momentum was not over yesterday. But the first signal that it might be over, that yesterday may have been the last of it, was the fact that the price pulled back down here and then spent so much time down at the lower end of the range yesterday. Okay? It spent so much time down there and it brought in so much volume that it pulled the value area. The blue box. Come on. There we go. It pulled this value area to completely engulfing the previous day's value. And so that's a sign. If it was bullish, if we still had that momentum on the daily, we would have made overlapping to higher value. So the fact that we pulled the value all the way down below the previous day, that was the market telling us odds are it's running out of momentum. So of course, a day where we get a continuation of momentum on the daily is possible. It's possible. But we just must be keenly aware that the market is telling us it's running out of momentum. And what do we know from experience? That excess leads to balance. So if we just got all this excess and we're getting a signal, we're running out of momentum, meaning we need to balance off the excess, there's only two ways to do that. With time or with price. And that's what we will find out this morning. Which of the three does the market have in store for us today? There you go, Mark. You're the unsung hero, my friend. That was quite a catch. Ever since I've noticed it, it's like it's a strong sign of weakness. All right, so we're testing this support now. If this area, literally where we are right now, starts to break, we're looking to head down and repair the week. Well, there you go. So now we're looking to head down and repair the week M period low at 38.3850, and then test the overnight low. And then what happens at that overnight low will give us an indication of what to expect moving forward. If they're able to push below that overnight low and they come back up and find resistance, that's bearish for continuation. But if they come back up and there's no resistance, just more chop. We would expect the market to pull right back up. So let's see what happens here. So since the overnight inventory was relatively balanced, relatively neutral, getting back to the zero line and then breaking lower is a little bit bearish to see on the ticks. So there's the repair of the week M period low left behind from yesterday. Now we're looking to test that overnight low. Do we get new sellers down there? John Lash, NQ overnight low is broken. Yes, sir. All right, well, the NQ is straight up bearish. No two ways about it. We had the signal the momentum was over yesterday when we made lower highs, lower lows, and brought value lower. We have confirmation of that today, and we are now starting new momentum to the downside as we now have 3 days in a row with overlapping to lower value. So that is bearish for the Q here. It would appear the Q needs to balance with price, not time. So we're now looking for resistance at that overnight low, 11,355 for continuation to the downside. Same thing here on the ES. We're now below yesterday's low, so we're looking for resistance at 38.35 for continuation to the downside. Okay, market's starting to liquidate. A liquidation is another great way for us to get signals moving forward. That liquidation was squeezing out the weak hand buyers that were trying to hold up the market earlier. So now the question is, do stronger hand buyers step in? Can they push the market right back up into yesterday's range? If not, another sign of further downside continuation. All right, so far the liquidation cannot retrace, and we have new sellers at the low, which is bearish. Still looking to back test yesterday's low for resistance. Trading futures daily. How do you know they're new sellers? Oh, my friend. My friend. There's so much. So many things I have to teach you. It's a combination of a lot of different things, man. It just has to do with where the market moves, who the participants would be that would get in or get out at that level. And then I'm looking at the market's internals over here to my right. And they're telling me that it's sellers, right? Because we're below the zero line. So I know that below yesterday's low, if buyers want to save the market, they're going to step in and push us back into yesterday's range. I also know because we had a liquidation to get us down here, that gives those buyers a reason to get in right now. So if they want to get the market to go higher, the buyers would be stepping in. But instead, those ticks remain below the zero line. So it's sellers doing business in here. And they're new sellers. They weren't short up here. They're going short now. Only one reason to go short now, because you think the market's going to go lower. Okay, once again, new sellers at the low is bearish. The next potential support for the market, we have a low volume node we need to backfill at 38.24. We're literally about to go finally come backfill it 2 days later. Trading futures. Appreciate you, brother. 99 cents on the super chat. 99 cents euro. Well played. So we're looking to backfill that low volume node that only had 143 contracts at 38.24, and then see if we can turn the high from 2 days ago, which we can also kind of consider a previous balance area high. Can we turn that into support? Let me actually zoom out to the daily to show you that one. So the idea being, if this was a balance area and we broke out of it, or no, not that. That's the NQ. There we go. If this is a balance area and we broke out of it, going back and testing the high, sorry. Would be potential support for continuation. So that's why we want to see what happens at the high from 2 days ago. Okay, so as we work our way back up to test yesterday's low for resistance, we're looking for the sellers to come in and smack these ticks back down below the zero line. All right, so with the printing of the B period here, we pulled the value area down to the low of the day. That's a little bit bearish. Also pulling it below, overlapping to lower from yesterday, a further sign the momentum to the upside is gone. What a perfect example of how to use the ticks. So price is being held below yesterday's low. The ticks are right at the zero line right now. So if they push up, it's new buyers stepping in here trying to recover the market. If they push down and continue lower, it's new sellers trying to take the market lower. Who's it going to be, ticks? Who's going to win? Those ticks are saying the sellers are winning. Thank you for the 105 likes. I appreciate you. I remain bearish as long as we remain below yesterday's low. Falcon, what low are you looking at? The one with the arrow on it. Yesterday's low. Also the overnight low. All right, well, this is the last chance for the sellers to come slap the buyers down. All right. Sorry, guys. Back to neutral. They held the ticks above the zero line, and they got back up into yesterday's range. So more chop is in our near future. We're now looking for resistance at the halfback, 38.45. If no resistance there, we're going right back up through the opening price once again. Okay, no resistance at the halfback. We're back in a chop zone. It's going to get boring. Feels like we're having a sideways day. Okay, so now, as always, when we're in a chop zone, halfback often the level where the market can reverse itself. So if we can now turn 38.44 into support, we might try to go up and test the high. But if it does not act as support, more grind and chop. So exactly the same as it was when we were at the low from yesterday, right here at halfback. We're back at the zero line on the ticks, so they'll tell us which way it's going to break. The green tick breaking up, finding support. Red tick, no support, more chop. Pavel NQ resistance at the overnight. Oh, yes, sir. Almost exactly. And you got the overnight low for resistance at 11,356, and then the halfback for resistance at 11,364. It would appear the support is about to break. And the chop will continue. All right, so now we got to keep doing this dance, unfortunately, until the market finally can kind of pick a direction. So now the question again becomes, can they get it below the overnight or get it below yesterday's low? If they do, can they find resistance this time for continuation? If not, we just keep grinding until somebody finally wins. The buyers or the sellers. Screwball Pirate Traders is it'll look above and fail on the daily for the NQ. Is it back inside yesterday's range? No, it's not a look above and fail. Is this what you're looking at, Screwball? This is a mess, man. There's so much balance in here. It could be. Boop, boop. I would say the Q is, it stays, oh, they're back up in the overnight range. Man, nah, Q is potentially having a sideways day. Back up through the opening price. That's chop. Oh man, and the ES is back at the high. That happened quick. Fletch, is this Window Trader Blue Light? This is Window Trader, the full version of it, just Window Trader Blue. But it's very, very similar to Light. The only thing you can't do in Light is put the 30-minute TPO. You just have to have the daily. I'm sorry, the 30-minute volume profile. You just have to have the daily volume profile. But other than that, you can have the exact same setup. All right, well, I'm bullish now to test the overnight high, and then same thing as with the overnight low. Find out, do we have new buyers or sellers up there? When we push up, do we come back down and find support? Or does the same thing happen up there that happened down here, where we poke above and then we just fail and pull right back in? Okay, the market just created a poor high. That increases the odds that we're going to repair the high and go test that overnight high. Screwball says that V shape. It could be a V or it could be the beginning of a bell. Could be the beginning of a day that looks a lot like this overnight. Let's see what happens at the overnight high. Well, this isn't boding well for the bulls. They've still got a poor high in need of repair, but they're starting to get taper right exactly where the overnight got taper. They're running out of new business in the same place. So that, in my mind, slightly increases the odds we will not find support up here. And that will pull right back down in. All right. Well, I think the more time we spend here, the more I think this overnight high is going to be really important. Okay. Let's just expand out yesterday's profile for a second and really think about these levels that we're at right now. After we pulled back down into the range, this is the area where we ran out of momentum that caused us to close lower in the overnight. Okay. This is the exact area where we ran out of momentum that caused us to pull back down and close lower. Look at where we're running out of momentum today, right now this morning. Literally in the exact same place as we ran out of momentum in the overnight, as we ran out of momentum yesterday in the regular trading hours. So this level is going to be very, very important. Inside of here is where the two-sided trade is taking place. This is where the market is deciding if it's going to go higher or lower on a bigger picture on the daily. And so if we're able to get above yesterday's high and then come back down and turn this into support, well, then that's very bullish for continuation. But in my mind, what is more likely is more battle needs to be fought. Which could lead to a very choppy day. So all eyes on the overnight high. What happens there? Oh, by the way, exact same spot where we ran out of momentum in the overnight 2 nights ago. Exact same spot where we had a base of a spike, which was the last signal we had of momentum to the upside, was that base of the spike. This is an important area right here. Okay, so our first attempt to test that overnight high has failed and left us with a weak high. So we need to head up there and give it one more poke. All right, so that is the printing of the C period, which means, unfortunately, our time together has come to an end. This is the end of the public live stream, my friend. So yeah, same as I was saying before, I'm looking to test this overnight high up here at 38.68. And then, well, there you go. There's the test. So the market is now one time framing higher, which is bullish. And we are looking for support at this overnight high. It doesn't have to be exactly to the tick here, but basically just this area I was just talking about that has been resistance at the end of yesterday and in the overnight. Does that now become support? Can we keep the ticks above the zero line? Can we get new buyers stepping in up here? If so, we can look for continuation of that momentum up to test yesterday's high. If not, if there's no support here, look for the market to pull right back down towards the halfback and the chop to continue. With that, I say farewell and wish you all the best of luck. We'll see you here tomorrow morning. Members of the brigade, set sail. It's time to party. All right, you're getting support so far at yesterday's high. Can they hold it?